Are you currently letting instant gratification steal your time? Endless short videos on your phone, late-night binge eating, impulsive shopping. We are drowning in the succession of these small pleasures, losing sight of the major goals we truly need to achieve. This state is what neuroscience calls dopamine addiction. Seeking immediate pleasure leads to wasted time and money, eventually resulting in self-loathing. This is the most serious concern facing modern individuals. 400 years ago, Miyamoto Musashi completely severed himself from this pleasure trap. Article 2, written just 1 week before his death in the Dokkodo, is the key to solving this problem. Dokkodo Article 2. Never seek pleasure for the body. This is not a call for asceticism or hardship. Rather, it is the ultimate philosophy of growth, urging you to cut the drug, named instant pleasure, and pursue the supreme joy of self-improvement. Today, we will explain how this teaching solves the modern problem of dopamine addiction, tracing Musashi's philosophical journey and providing a practical exercise you can start today. Why did Musashi so strictly forbid seeking pleasure for the body? Because the pursuit of pleasure distracts us from the universal truth of achieving our purpose. The solutions offered by Buddhist schools of the time were all burdened by the pleasure trap. For instance, Jodo Pure Land Buddhism offered the emotional pleasure of reassurance through recitation Nenbutsu. This was a spiritual escape, a salvation, after death, that hindered self-improvement by encouraging the abandonment of effort in this life. Furthermore, Nichiren Buddhism offered the social pleasure of collective euphoria through chanting Daimoku. This reliance on external validation meant prioritizing social satisfaction over genuine personal internal growth. In contrast, the Zen school offered confrontation with the self. Through seated meditation, Zazen, Zen denied immediate pleasure, arguing that long-term growth was the most valuable joy. This perfectly aligned with the pragmatism of the samurai. What Musashi sought in the way of the sword was not momentary satisfaction, but the result of continuous growth. Lifelong, undefeated status. Immediate pleasure was the distraction that threatened to ruin that growth, and thus was unacceptable. 1. Musashi's practical application of pleasure detachment. Musashi's life was a testament to the success of this second article. Throughout his life, he deliberately cut off material pleasures. He had no fixed abode, held no property, and his diet was simple. He also severed the pleasure of external validation, rejecting offers to serve powerful lords and ignoring public opinion. Why? Because material pleasure creates the next attachment, the fear of loss, which disturbs the mind. Musashi's undefeated status was supported by his total lightness, rooted in having nothing to lose. 2. Zen's teaching and never seeking pleasure. Zen philosophy provides the logical foundation for this article, arguing that attachment to pleasure causes mental chaos. Detaching from pleasure is not an act of hardship. It is an extremely pragmatic method for redirecting energy and concentration toward the original purpose, the universal truth of self-improvement. Modern successful individuals practice the same discipline. For example, investor Warren Buffett consistently eats the same simple food, avoiding decision fatigue by not chasing the latest trends in technology. Similarly, conductor Seiji Ozawa dedicated his waking hours to his purpose, the pursuit of music, even sacrificing sleep. They all gained ultimate concentration and productivity as the reward for never seeking immediate pleasure. 3. The modern problem: escaping the servitude of dopamine. The dopamine addiction plaguing modern people is simply the modern iteration of Musashi's pleasure. Simple, readily available. Pleasures, phone notifications, games, unnecessary purchases are everywhere. Musashi warns that indulging in these small pleasures means abandoning the most valuable universal joy, growth, and becoming a slave to pleasure. Musashi's teaching, never seek pleasure for the body, should not be interpreted as a denial of happiness, but as an extremely modern philosophy of self-investment optimizing the quality and timing of pleasure. What Musashi sought was the long-term joy of mastering the way of the sword, the ultimate principle of strategy, heiho no ri. Instant gratification is the pleasure of consumption delivered by dopamine. It ends quickly, leaving emptiness. In contrast, long-term joy is the pleasure of creation and growth, delivered by brain chemicals like serotonin and endorphins. This is the sustained sense of well-being built up through consistent effort. Musashi dedicated himself to investing in this self-attainment, a kind of long-term growth hormone, by cutting off the short-term dopamine distractions. Now I will introduce a practical mental control exercise based on Musashi's philosophy that you can start today. This exercise's purpose is to embody the philosophy of selection, determining what to discard, as Musashi taught, rather than merely what to keep. Exercise forced value screening. First, make a list of 10 things you currently invest the most time and money into in your life. Then ask yourself this question: if the top 3 items on your list were absolutely guaranteed for the rest of your life, but the 4th item was permanently excluded, forbidden to be enjoyed as pleasure, would you accept that? For example, suppose the item that comes in 10th place is excessive internet surfing. This 10th item is the false pleasure you should discard first. The crucial point is not to limit yourself to 3 items. By repeating this experiment, you gradually discard all unnecessary things. If you find that 9 out of 10 items are absolutely essential to you, then you must concentrate on those 9, even if it means banishing the 10th item from your life entirely. Ponder deeply on how you must act now and in the future to protect those 9 truly important things. By repeating this process and letting go of the unnecessary, your life can be built into the ideal world you desire, surrounded only by the things you truly want, making the ideal self a reality. The moment what is truly important and what is not becomes clear in your life, you will realize how much unnecessary pleasure in the form of distraction you were previously surrounded by. Growth is the supreme joy. Musashi's Dokkodo Article 2 is the most demanding, yet most loving message for surviving modern society. Invest in the supreme universal joy of self-improvement. The stern teaching, never seek pleasure for the body, does not aim to steal joy from your life. It is a method to bring you true, unshakable joy. Musashi's teaching is demanding, but that very demand is what will give your life an unshakable axis. The answer tailored to your worries is here. If you are dependent on instant gratification, seek Article 2. If you struggle with loneliness, Article 9. If you feel anxious, Article 6. I recommend subscribing to the channel so you won't lose track of these exercises. Dokkodo 21 articles. Every video has a practical exercise you can start today. Find the article that will change your life right now. Thank you for watching until the end today. We will see you in the next video.